Hello and welcome. My name is Markus Erdorf and I'm safety consultant at Leuze. Our topic today is substantial modification to machinery. Yeah, substantial modification, that's always a big question that we get from our customers. Is it a substantial modification or not, and what's the consequence? So that's why I would like to talk a little bit more in detail in this video about it. Yeah, at first we would like to have a little look into the guide of the European Commission to Machinery Directive. And here we will find some information, and it says the Machinery Directive also applies to machinery that has been transformed or rebuilt so substantially that it can be considered as a new machinery. Unfortunately, it also says here in the last sentence, it is not possible to give precise criteria for answering the question if it has been a substantial modification or not. And that was also the reason for the interpretation paper on substantial modification to machinery from the Federal Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs already in the year 2015, because the ministry has also seen that there are many questions about it. Is it now a substantial modification or not? Because if it is a substantial modification, then also the Machinery Directive applies to this new machinery. And that means we have to do a full risk assessment of this new machinery. We also have to do the complete CE process and then the CE marking in the end. And in this interpretation paper, we also have a little guide, and this little guide I would like to show you. So the first steps that we are doing, we do a kind of modification, a retrofit or a change in our machinery. For example, we exchange a PLC. And every time we do a replacement one by one, so we replace the exact same parts that we had before, or we replace it by comparable components, so it's not 100% the same, but in the end the function of the machinery will be the same again. Or if we do a retrofitting with additional safety technologies, so that means in the end the safety of machinery is improved, so the machine is more safe than it was before, then it will be never a substantial modification. So in this case, we are fine. So most of the time we have a no here, and then the next question which is coming up, is there a new hazard? So new hazard means due to our change that we have done, have we something changed in a way that we create a new hazard? If yes, then there comes up a second question, which is, does the new hazard lead to a risk? Because the new hazard does not automatically mean we have a new risk. So risk and hazard we have talked about in the last video. So there's a difference, and a new risk happens only if the person and the hazard is coming together. So the question is, do we have now a new risk? If no, then it's also no substantial modification of our machinery. If we don't have a new hazard, then it's still possible that one of the risks that we had already before has been increased. So for example, the machine is now moving faster, so that means we have a higher potential that someone gets hurt on this. So one of the risks has been increased. If we have a yes here, or if we have a yes on the other side here, then the next question is, are the existing protective measures sufficient? So we have already some protective measures on our machine, for example, a light curtain or a fence, and maybe it's possible that these protective measures are still sufficient enough. If yes, then it's also no substantial modification. If no, then there's the last possibility, and the question, can the risk be eliminated or sufficiently minimized with simple safeguards? Simple safeguards are fixed guards, so a fence for example, interlocking movable guards, so a door for example, or protective devices like light curtains or laser scanners, as they do not interfere significantly in the current safety-related control of the machinery. So it means, for example, we have already a safety relay on the machinery and we adapt our light curtain to this safety relay, so this would be fine. If we have a yes here, then that was the last possibility, that we don't have a substantial modification, and that's good, that's what we want to have. So we do a little checklist and say yes, 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 everything's fine, and we did not do a substantial modification, we just write down what we did and that's it. Because if we come to the point that we have a no here, then in the end it will be a substantial modification, and as we have heard before, then we have to do the full CE process for our new machinery that we have now built. So we are now the manufacturer of this machinery, and maybe this machinery is already 20-30 years old, and so we don't have good documentations about it, and we are now the producers, the manufacturer of this machinery, and have to do the full CE process. So that's definitely something we don't want to do. Yeah, there's one thing missing in this graph. Before we can decide if we have additional hazards or new risk or increase some risk, of course, we also have to do a hazard analysis or a risk assessment before we start the modification. Otherwise, it's really hard to say, has we improved something or has we changed something, new hazards, new risk. If we don't know the status before the change, before the modification, we cannot be sure if we have changed something of these points. So that's something you also should do. Yeah, so that was our little video about the substantial modification. If you like the video, then please give us a like and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you and goodbye.